Hello, I'm Divya A, Assistant Professor, ECE, AG Institute of Engineering and Technology, Bangalore. So today I will be continuing with the Module 5, that is Optical Networks. In this video lecture, I will be explaining about optical switching networks and the two types of switching networks. They are optical circuit switched networks and optical packet switched networks. So coming to optical switching networks. So an optical switch, it is the most dynamic element in an optical network. So it can switch the data between different ports of a network. So this optical switching, it can be classified into two categories, that is circuit switching and packet switching. So an optical switch, it performs various digital logic operations, that is allowing signals to switch from one state to another state. So therefore, large arrays of optical switches can switch the signals from one port to another port. So these arrays of switches form circuit switching fabrics known as optical cross connects, which incorporate switching connections or light paths. So coming to a router on the other hand, it routes data packets. That is, in this case, the data is split into packets which are routed separately through the network, and then they are reassembled at the receiving terminal to get back the original message. So this process it provides for a more efficient use of available bandwidth. So both circuit and packet switching techniques are used in high capacity networks. So in circuit switched networks, first of all the connection must be set up between the transmitter and receiver. Only after the connection setup is done between the transmitter and receiver, only then the transfer of data will be started. So when during this time, the entire network resources, here network resources refers to components, it should remain dedicated to the circuit connection. That is, during the entire transfer of the message. And such type of circuit is said to be a static circuit. So one example of such type of static circuit switched network is SDH SONET. So now if the network resources can be reallocated without being physically disturbed, the circuit is referred to as dynamic dynamic circuit switched network. So as I already told you, in circuit switched networks, a connection is established using the available network resources for the full duration of the transmission of a message. So only after the message has been successfully transmitted, then only the connection is removed. So till then, that particular connection is dedicated only for that particular transmission of a message in a circuit switched network. So a circuit switched environment requires that an end-to-end circuit be set up before the actual transmission can take place. So first of all, the path has to be established in a circuit switched network environment. Only after the path is established, then only the information will be transferred. A fixed share of network resources is then reserved for the specific transmission which no other transmission can use. So whatever network components is being used, that will not be shared for any other transmission when the current transmission is going on. And also a request signal must be sent from the source to the destination, and it should be acknowledged before the transmission begins. So just making sure that the path is clear. So in this figure, this is a block diagram showing an optical circuit switched network. So we can see that there are 6 nodes, that is from A to F, and they are all interconnected. And a requested logical connection for optical signal wavelength lambda 1 is established, producing a circuit path through the networks A, B, D, F. So optical nodes of an OCS network, so they contain optical switches. So where large multi-port optical switches or an OX, it is also referred to as an optical cross-connect switch, are used to establish connection between the desired input and output ports. And so this is now this particular optical switch, it is shown here in this node B and node D. So for example, here this is a 2x2 optical switch at node B. It enables a cross connection using port 2 and 3, whereas in node D it employs a direct connection for ports 1 and 3. So in this way, a logical path or an optical circuit from node A to F is created for the light path using wavelength lambda 1. So an optical switch can handle traffic from both SDHONET and IP network. But there is a limitation that only in-service signals can use the available network resources. that is the transmission path, is made dedicated only to the current transmission that is going on. So also the wavelength continuity constraint. So to remind you what is a wavelength continuity constraint, that is, it means that when a light path cannot be created by a single wavelength channel. So such a situation is called as wavelength continuity constraint. So it also limits the flexibility of the OCS networks, as light paths using the same wavelength can only carry the traffic from the source to the destination. So this constraint can be overcome if the wavelength conversion function is used at the output ports of the optical nodes to change the wavelength of the signal as required. So in general, OCS networks are suitable for implementation in public telecommunication networks, where a large volume of traffic is required to be switched in real time. So in a way, we can say that OCS has become an umbrella term to cover many network architectures based on two-way reservation. So various networks using the OCS concept have emerged to bring optical network services directly from the long haul to business and residential customers. But a disadvantage of OCS is that it cannot efficiently handle bursty traffic. So in such traffic condition, the data is sent in optical bursts of different lengths, and therefore the resources cannot be readily assigned. For example, an active user, that is at peak times when the traffic is heavy, will need large bandwidths when sending a burst of data, as compared with relatively little bandwidth for a non-active user, that is off-peak times. So bursty traffic is therefore characterized by both peak and average bandwidth, and much of the bandwidth remains unused with the transmission of bursty traffic in an OCS network. So the next type of switching networks, that is the optical packet switched networks. So in an optical packet switched network, data is transported entirely in the optical domain without intermediate optoelectrical conversion. That is, there is no conversion from optical to electrical, and electrical to optical conversions is not required. Here the data is transmitted entirely in the optical domain. So an optical packet switch, it performs the four basic functions. So these functions are, first of all, routing, then forwarding, switching, and buffering. So the routing function provides network connectivity information, often through pre-allocated routing tables. So there will be some pre-allocated routing tables, and through this the connectivity information is provided. Then the forwarding defines the output for each incoming packet. That is, this forwarding is based on the routing table. That is, from one particular node to which node the data has to be transmitted. So this information is present in the routing table. The switch, it will direct each packet to the correct output. That is what is called as forwarding process. While buffering provides data storage for packets to resolve any contention problems which may occur during packet transmission. So this figure, it shows the structure of a typical packet. So you can see that it contains a header or label and the payload, that is the data, and it requires guard band. Guard band is required to make sure that data is not overwritten. So the label, it points to an entry in a lookup table that specifies to where the packet should be forwarded. So such a labeling technique, it is much faster than the traditional routing method. So in traditional routing method, what was done is each packet is examined before a forwarding decision is made. Okay, now at the receiving nodes, these labels are required to be recognized from the lookup table, and then the data is reassembled sequentially. So since the labels define the routing criteria, it is sometimes referred to as label switching. So this label switching includes several functions in the labeling technique, such as assignment, recognition, swapping, and forwarding. So the process of address lookup, so it can be replaced by address matching using optical correlators. So these optical correlators are switching devices employing digital logic gates to perform optical pattern recognition, which is very similar to detecting an address from an lookup table. So these optical correlators are an alternative to address lookup table. So a set of optical correlators can therefore determine whether a packet is destined for a particular switch by matching the address encoded into the packet with the switch's own address. So now, if there is a match, the data is extracted and processed. Otherwise, the packet is forwarded to the next switch. So this figure, it is an example of an OPS network. So here it shows a long haul or core network connected to both a SONET and an IP network. So the edge routers perform the functions of attaching and detaching a label. So as identified for label 1 and label 2 attached to two different optical packets being transmitted to specific networks, that is to the IP and SONET client network. So within the OPS network, however, the core router only processes the label where the content of payload remains the same. That is, the payload can carry ATM traffic or IP packets at different bit rates. So this routing function physically involves the following four steps, which are extraction of the label from the packet, then processing of the label to obtain the routing information, then routing of the payload and content resolution if necessary, and finally rewriting of the label and recombining it with the payload. So when an OPS network is implemented and only the label is processed electronically for routing purposes, with payload remaining in the optical domain, such type of OPS network, it is generally labeled as optical label switched network. So this figure, it shows a generic OLS network configuration to route packets while also extracting and rewriting the labels at input and output interfaces. So here only the detached label is processed electronically and the payload remains in optical buffers before it is being sent through optical switch to the desired output buffers. So finally the routing processor and the control electronics, they generate the label which is reattached with the data at the output interface. So that was all about optical packet switching. Thank you.